Outboard Parts. The Buccaneer Music Hall is your beacon of music in the land of the Pirates in ENC. Open at noon 7 days a week with live music. Come enjoy sports trivia with me, Clip Rock, every Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, it's live local acoustic night, along with line dancing from 7 to 9 on Wednesday. Thursday, there's a brand new lineup with Singo starting at 8, followed by karaoke with DJ Dog. Ladies and free both Friday and Saturday nights with the best local bands in the area. Finish the weekend with free games and DJ Kids Scene.
Y'all come get bucked up.
Make things happen this year with the new John Deere. In just one visit to Quality Equipment, you'll find the right lawnmower, compact tractor, or Gator UTV that will save you time and money on your next project. Keep things running all season long with the help of our experienced parts and service team. Your new Deere isn't far away. Find current offers and budget-friendly packages at your local Quality Equipment with 36 locations across North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit QualityEquip.com to get started. That's QualityEquip.com.
Warm up with our winter savings at the Beaufort Hotel. Plan your winter escape and save up to 20% off. The premier vacation destination on the Crystal Coast is nestled on 10 acres and overlooks the Rachel Carson Reserve, home to 30 wild horses. Discover why Beaufort was named the best small town for adventure by USA Today when you stay at the Beaufort Hotel, where your Outer Banks adventure begins. Visit BeaufortHotelNC.com or call 252-728-3000.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Dixon Williams, and the best place to go for custom t-shirts, apparel, or promotional items is University Sportswear. University Sportswear hit a home run for me when I needed my custom shirts. From start to finish, University Sportswear provided superior customer service and a quality product that cannot be beat. If your business, organization, or event needs t-shirts or promotional help, then you need University Sportswear. Visit universitysportswearenc.com for contact information. Go Pirates.
If you missed the Brian Bailey Show, you missed.
The head coach of J.H. Rose is Robert Duck. Take us through the early part of the season. Were you surprised you got off to a slow start?
Yes and no. I think early on I did a poor job of evaluating some of the strengths and weaknesses of my players when I was watching film of them in the past years. I thought they'd done a really good job of buying in and listening and learning and growing as people and basketball players. But I think I evaluated them a bit wrong. I think we made some tweaks defensively that really helped us out as a whole.
Tune in Mondays at noon for the Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, right here on Pirate Radio. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Eastern Carolina's longest-running sports radio show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show is powered by Greenville Utilities and also brought to you by
Bostic Sugg, Bojangles, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into our show. Live in the studio today is Tommy Eason, the head baseball coach at Pitt Community College in his 19th year. Can you believe that it's been 19? 20th year? Well, I got you at 19. You guys got to change your website. In his 20th year at Pitt Community College, can you believe it's been 20 years?
No.
I couldn't believe it was 19 or 20. When you look at everything that changes in baseball and changes in just life itself, I mean, it's changed a lot in 19, 20 years, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, leaving East Carolina, it's changed a lot over there. And, coming to Pitt, with the facilities that we had at the beginning to where we are now, it's pretty amazing.
Tommy Eason is our guest. We'll talk more baseball with Coach Eason coming up as the Brian Bailey Show continues right after this.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
Eastern North Carolina's Bourbon Authority is Greenville's premier American-styled restaurant. The Rick House specializes in handcraft dishes, and our bar features the very best in bourbons like Parker's Heritage, Knob Creek, and Jefferson's.
Join the Rick House for date night. One low price for a 4-course meal for 2 and a bottle of wine on the 3rd Wednesday of every month.
Let the Rick House host your next big event in our 2,000-square-foot banquet hall. It's perfect for wedding rehearsals, graduations, and holiday parties. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road in Greenville.
There have been many changes in the automotive world. At Phelps Chevrolet, the Phelps boys are here to take care of you. Mike, Daryl, and 4 of Mr. Phelps' grandsons, Wade, West, Allen, and Clay. You see, things at Phelps remain the same. The Phelps team has served Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years. We make your visit easy and fun. We are your neighbors, and that's what neighbors do. Phelps Chevrolet in Greenville. Like Mr. Phelps' great-granddaughter says, come in and get you one.
Find new roads with Chevrolet at PhelpsChevrolet.com.
You've had your new computer a few years now, but lately it's been running super slow, acting strange, and you're worried about viruses and losing data.
This is driving me mad!
Let the experts at University PC Care in Greenville and New Bern professionally diagnose your Mac or PC to see what's really going on. They'll determine the root cause and not just symptoms, so you don't waste money fixing the wrong issues. Call 252-558-1280 for in-store or remote service, or make an appointment online at universitypccare.com.
Hey, Pirate Nation, this is Parker Bird, and the best place to go for custom t-shirts, apparel, or promotional items is University Sportswear. University Sportswear was super easy to work with when I needed my custom shirts. From start to finish, University Sportswear provided superior customer service and a quality product that cannot be beat. If your business, organization, or event needs t-shirts or promotional help, then you need University Sportswear. Visit universitysportswearenc.com for contact information. Go Pirates.
This is Holton Nailers. Join me for the Holton Nailers Show every week right here on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
There's local politics, bud.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. In his 20th year at Pitt Community College, his head baseball coach, Tommy Eason, the East Carolina Hall of Famer from the class of 2016, and he knows anything and everything about the game of baseball, and everything has kind of changed. You know, when you came along from, in Snow Hill at Green Central High School and coming up and then going to East Carolina, getting the chance to play in the Phillies organization, all that's just it's different now, isn't it?
Oh, it's totally different. With all the rules they've got in place now, it's hard to keep track of, and we don't have all the video replay and things like that. And I'm watching the NCAA baseball, and I'm looking, man, to keep up with that stuff, and I don't have the staff to be able to do that.
Right.
Fortunately, those 4-year schools have more staff and are help, can help Cliff out.
Right.
So I know he leans on them too.
You brought up video replay, and I swear, I don't understand a game where they've worked so hard to speed the game up, and then they come up with this idea of video replay, because to me, I understand you want to get the call right, but take me through why you have to call time. Coach has to come over and say, we'd like to have that reviewed. Then the guys have to get together to see what they're having for dinner that night. I mean, they sit there, the 4 of them get together. I don't know what they're talking about, because 3 of the guys weren't even involved in the thing. And if you say, hey, do you guys see anything? And they all say, no, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. All right, that conversation should be over. But that conversation lasts at least 2 minutes long. And then finally 2 of them break away and say, okay, we're going to go look at it. I don't. And then they go back there, and I don't know if the Cartoon Network is on or what's going on in the tent, but it just seems to me that it's baffling that it takes so long. The other day there was a play, I can't remember which game it was, but the first baseman was stretched out. They got the orange bag, which has confused everybody. Runner tagged the wrong bag. And as soon as he went by, I said, I had a feeling he hit the wrong bag. He's got to hit the orange one. I mean, that's just me. That took 12 seconds. And they took those guys and they came back and they ruled it that way. I don't understand why it has to happen like that.
Well, that was another play with Irby at first base, and he had pulled his foot off, and then all of a sudden, he leans back and gets his foot back on. And I'm going, wow, how hard is this? And I watched it, and I was like, that took over 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And, somebody, I think it was Mike Mullis or somebody said, we are in, he goes, oh, I thought we were in the bottom of the second. We're only in the top of the second, and we've been 50 minutes into the game. And I was like, yeah. I said, I'm glad I don't have it. Here again, I want the umpires to be, held accountable and things like that. But, here at the same time, a lot of judgment calls. And I think one of the biggest questions is what can you look at and what can't you look at? And I think that's another part of the process that they go through. But, trying to keep up with that stuff is mind-boggling to me.
Man, Cliff said earlier, in the preseason, he said, I'm glad I'm not an umpire because they have so much to worry about. Well, what the one thing is we don't need to give those guys anything else to worry about because, they've got enough going on with trying to get the plays right. And a bunch of umpires. I know a bunch through the years. They're all good guys. But, sometimes you miss a call. Sometimes things happen. But in your game, do you guys have the safety bag in junior college?
No.
Okay,
no.
So you don't.
We don't have. We do use the pitch clock, but we don't have one visible.
Okay.
You're talking about somebody running it, and that's another staff member.
Right.
Obviously, the clock itself is at least $5,000, and you're asking some junior colleges to wherever they're going to get that money from, and we're under the same concept as the state universities where you can't spend state dollars.
Right.
So it's mostly self-funded or self-raised funds, and we do get some money from our bookstore and student fees and things like that, but not to the level of East Carolina or UNC or somewhere like that.
Do you like the pitch clock?
I don't mind it.
Right.
There are times where I would never want it to see it cause the outcome of a game. I think that's where umpires have to be. But then again, if you're doing it the whole game and then there's a situation where you call ball 4 and walk a run in, I mean, that part of it stinks.
Yeah, it does. And we've seen it happen in certain instances and that kind of thing. On the flip side of the pitch clock, you have a guy like Ethan Norby who, I'm telling you, what we saw the other day, and we'll talk Pitt baseball in a minute, but I know you're a big East Carolina fan because you went there and you coached there and you're Cliff, you're good friends with Cliff. What he did on Friday was something that I think I will never, ever forget. Being out in the outfield in the jungle, going live with Sportscast, and just watching him mow down hitter after hitter. And that's a good Coastal team, obviously ranked 24th. They showed the next day how well they can hit the ball. But that was just, and he was ready to pitch. As soon as that batter made eye contact, that ball was coming.
Well, and I think that's the other thing. Cliff and I talked about it not long ago about making eye contact, within 8 seconds of the pitch being thrown. And, that's another thing that, I look at now only because of him talking about it and then it happening on TV.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't, I think we've had one pitcher that was warned that, the batter had to make eye contact.
When you've gone through baseball like you have you ever seen a kid mow down 3, 6, 9 in a row, strikeouts?
No. And when they put up the records with Hal Baird up there.
Yeah, that was crazy. 1970, Hal Baird at 20 Ks for East Carolina baseball. Ethan Norby with 19 and 7 1/3. And just the way, striking out the side, the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth. And that's just mind-boggling.
Well, you can only imagine if it had been in late March.
Right.
And, or Norby having more innings under his belt and not being under such a strict pitch count, which I get that too.
Oh, I get it too.
Yeah.
Because somebody asked me over the weekend, so why in the world would he have taken him out? I said, look, he was under a pitch count. I think it was 103 if I'm not mistaken. But it was cool outside. It wasn't, if you're in May and it's warm outside, he goes 9. I mean, was that 26, 27? He's way up there.
That's a good question, but I know that
25.
They do a good job of protecting arms, and he's got to start again next week. So that's kind of where we're at. With the 13 games we've played, some of it's been in brutal weather, and hopefully we're getting past that. And this weekend, as we were talking earlier, we may have to move our series Friday, Saturday rather than Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, and you look at Ethan's brother, of course, Connor Norman, now with the Marlins down there, and he's tweeting out, "I'm going to hear about this for a long time." And I mean, you see Norman's dad there all the time at the games. He's always nervous when Ethan's getting ready to go pitch, and so it's really a cool family and a cool story. But how that thing transpired, unfortunately, Pirates had a lot of chances in Game 3 to take that series, just couldn't get it done with runners in scoring position. But it is a young team, whether we want to think about it or not. Because I know Cliff's gone off and said it's not the narrative we want, but I think they're going to get much better, be playing much better baseball later on, and they were close this weekend against a really good team.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the beauty of junior college baseball. We're young every year.
That's what I was going to ask. My next point. You guys are always young.
Well, and you hope that your freshmen that come back that were contributors the year before can be veterans. But then, at the end of the year, you lose them, and then it starts over again. So, it's my job to teach the game of baseball because, honestly, the game has changed at the high school level, too.
Yeah.
These guys, most of these players are playing travel ball, and, hopefully some of those travel ball teams are built around team concepts, but a lot of them.
Most of them aren't, are they?
No.
Yeah.
No. And that's the unfortunate side, and you could be a decent player and play in a tournament, and all of a sudden you look like you're a superstar, but you look at the competition beside you, and you're like, oh, maybe not so.
Yeah.
And so that's the other thing, and way back when this travel ball started, it was one of my first years recruiting at East Carolina in 1999, and I went to a tournament in Norfolk. And I saw Sam Nairn. I saw B.J. Upson.
Wow.
I saw Mark Teixeira.
Pretty good talent you saw there, didn't you?
Justin Verlander, all at the same tournament. I'm going, recruiting's easy.
Yeah.
And, fortunately, Sam, continued the legacy at East Carolina and had a great career. And but the recruiting game's changed tremendously also. There's so much film on kids nowadays or players nowadays. I know back then there was no film, and you had to get in the car and you had to go drive and see them. And now, a lot of these guys are coming to camps and things like that, and that helps out the recruiting side of it too. And so, the landscape of baseball has changed tremendously, although the footprint is still the same.
Right.
Catch, throw, steal,
get them out,
play defense,
get a hit, get them out.
I mean, that's the try to use the terminology stupid simple.
Right. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, same thing.
Our guys, we do quite a bit of filming during practice and stuff, and try to give them some feedback on what we think is going on with their swing or their delivery to the plate and those types of things, and they got to believe in it. East Carolina's got a program called Synergy, and it records everything, and you don't have to really do scouting reports because Synergy breaks it down. And so, I remember sitting down watching TV and, writing down what this pitcher did to this hitter. And, okay, now we're going to face this pitcher, but next week we're facing those hitters. So you're breaking down film by just watching a game.
Right.
And, that's somewhat made a whole lot more simplistic with Synergy. And it's not something that we can use because every school in junior college is not required to.
Is junior college baseball sort of like the minor leagues where you're trying to develop players, but and maybe you're more so in a team concept where maybe a minor league is not, but minor leagues they still play for championships and that kind of thing. But but basically the idea is to develop players, and they come to Pitt. Some of them know they're only going to play 2 years, and then they just want to continue their career. But a lot of those guys come to Pitt to say, hey, I want to go Division I somewhere, and that's your job to get them ready for that.
Well, yeah, and I tell guys all the time, I mean, if a college coach calls me and asks me about you or whomever, I have to be honest.
Right.
I was like, put up some numbers, be consistent, and that's a book. You've got something to go back on, and, if you're a 2-3 game wonder, if that's not something that continues on and you're not consistent, 4-year schools now with the portal.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, it's the portal and the NIL have killed amateur athletics. When I went to East Carolina, obviously I was playing with a team that Coach O had put together,
right?
And we believed in each other. And now you're always wondering at the end of the year, okay, who am I going to lose?
Right. Which is a shame.
It is. And it used to be, especially the underclassmen, if they left after their freshman year, they had to go junior college or they had to transfer down to Division II.
Right.
Now that's not the case. They can go straight across the board. Well, next year, with the 34-man roster and with the I know it's going to be different for different leagues, but the 34 full scholarships, the majority of the schools out there cannot afford 34 full rides.
Right.
And so I think there's going to be some limitations that are set up by whether the ACC says, okay, each of our teams can have this many scholarships, and the American doing the same thing. I don't, that's not my job to keep up with, but I'm looking at how it's going to transform the landscape of junior college baseball.
And the fascinating thing is that a lot of people out there have always thought that college baseball had full scholarships, like for a whole they have what was it, 11 point something,
11.7,
11.7. So that's all, and you have to divide that up between if you have a great pitcher and you have to try to negotiate and try to get academic money. That's right. One of the other.
Well, see, the academic money at East Carolina is tough. The only player that I know of that ever got it when I was there was Sam Nairn.
Wow.
And Sam was never on baseball scholarship, because if you gave him baseball money and with his academic money, it all counted towards the percentage towards baseball.
Wow.
Which is terrible.
That is terrible.
And, now, I mean, the correlations and how they do it there, now, I don't mind saying it, I was on tuition, books, and fees.
Yeah.
And, I never lived on campus. That was another, my family owned land across the river, and I told Coach O, my dad told Coach O, if he comes to East Carolina, he's living with his brother. He's not living in a dorm. I'm not paying for a dorm. I've already got a place for him to live. So I was very fortunate to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's just how it's all changed, what all is going on with it. And baseball is kind of different than say football or basketball. I mean, it's how the money goes, and East Carolina does have the 23 deal, but they got it kind of separated. And East Carolina's had a lot more success, for the most part than basketball or football. But how much money would Tommy Eason have gotten as a player back at East Carolina? Gotten some.
Who knows? I mean, and here's the other thing. I hope that it doesn't, interrupt the team concept when you got one guy maybe getting $30,000 and. You got to know the player's playing well, and he's getting $5,000.
Right.
And that to me is that's tough to finagle.
I heard this during the football season. Somebody told me this story that one of the donors was upset because he gave a certain amount of money for a certain player, and that player got benched. So he's raising Cain because he gave his money to the wrong player.
Well, I think Utah did it right. They gave everybody a truck.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody a truck. With their, I guess the logo of whomever dealership did it, but that to me makes more sense than giving X player $100,000 and another player $2,000. That's the part that I can't imagine being on the team and looking at a guy sitting in the corner and him maybe being a little cocky or something like that, and then you're sitting there and you're playing well and you're not getting a dime. That wouldn't sit well with me.
It's fascinating how it's all gone, and you keep thinking, all the things that SMU did to get on the death penalty is now legal.
Oh yeah,
all of it's legal, but it's just you think somebody somewhere would have some common sense and say, hey, we got to filter this thing down.
Yeah, but when you get the government involved with things, it just throws a monkey wrench into it, and the NCAA and Congress, and that should be two separate entities. The NCAA, if they're going to be the governing body, then govern. And,
do something.
I think it all started in California, and then it trickled down to everybody. So, like I said, I'm glad I'm on my way out, not on my way in.
I say that all the time at the TV station. I say, I'm glad I'm 62 and not 22 because everything changes everywhere you go. All right, Tommy Eason live in the studio with us. We've got our Pirate Radio channel on YouTube. We'll take your questions or comments if you have any. We'll talk Pitt Community College baseball, and our show continues right after this.
This is a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes. The 7th-seeded ECU women's basketball team led wire-to-wire to beat Memphis 64-45 in the second round of the AAC tournament last night. Farmville native Amaya Joyner finished with 21 points and 11 rebounds. The 11 rebounds gives her 102 boards in 8 conference tournament games, which is a conference record. The Pirates will be back in action tonight when they face 2-seed North Texas with tip-off scheduled for 7 o'clock Eastern Time. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
Enjoy the warm air, circulating moments after you turn up the heat. Precise control of cooking temperatures. Enough hot water on demand for everyone's shower. The instant glow of warmth when you turn on your fireplace or fire pit. Never having to change a gas tank on your outdoor grill. Experience the affordable luxury of natural gas. Find out more at GUC.com.
There's a common misbelief today that to make it further, you need to push yourself, that you need to give up any joy to continue your rigid routine. Or you could try another way. Take some time to enjoy life, like having a Michelob Ultra with friends, because happiness is essential to living an exceptional life. Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra, proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989.
Welcome back to Papa John's. I'm hand stuffing this mozzarella to make our epic stuffed crust pizza.
Epic.
Hey, we're making you an epic stuffed crust pizza for $13.99.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hey, Pirate fans, the Papa John's Epic Stuffed Crust One-Topping Pizza is back at only $13.99. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, an MVP move for game day or any day. Go Pirates!
Hey there, Eastern North Carolina, Jeff Stein at Brown & Wood. The Brown & Wood service specials include a tire price match guarantee, a $199 AC Delco front brake pad installation special. We also have a brake rotor rebate of $40 and a synthetic oil change on most vehicles for $89.95. Don't forget, free pickup and drop-off at Brown & Wood. 89 years in business, 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 rooftops, and 1 goal, to make sure you leave a happy customer.
Pirate Radio.
It's never like the same stuff you hear every morning or like every afternoon on talk shows.
Your locally owned, locally operated radio station.
There's always new content.
That's the way I like it.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community-owned utilities mean local control, low rates, and high reliability. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. Tommy Eason live in the studio. Our YouTube page is up on our YouTube channel. If you have a question or comment, we'll pass that along to Tommy. Next week, we'll be on Tuesday because of the 2025 Pirate Radio Leadership Luncheon. Inky Johnson's going to speak there, so we'll be on Tuesday instead of on Monday coming up next week. And we don't know what we'll be talking about, but we'll be talking about something as far as the sports world is concerned. Maybe spring football, because that's just around the corner for East Carolina. Let's talk Pitt Community College baseball. You kind of said it at the beginning of the show. It's just hard this type of time of year because of the weather to get anything really going, because baseball is such a sport of, you know, continuity and that kind of thing, and the weather's been so bad. Your team's 8-5, 2-3 in conference right now, but, you know, can you see anything from your team through those 13 games?
Oh, of course you can. You know, I think, you know, right now we're swinging the bat okay. We've got a couple of guys that we need to lean on a little bit. You know, it's kind of like, you know, waiting for that guy to step up and give us a little bit more. And, you know, I tell the team all the time, you know, it's hard for 2 or 3 guys to carry a team. If you got 4 or 5 guys in the lineup swinging the bat and you can put it together, that's going to be a good day. But it can't always be the same guys. We've had some signs of being a little bit streaky. I hope that we're a little bit more consistent. On the mound, here again, it's been tough. Just talking about Norby and keeping him under a pitch count. Well, we're trying to get some of our guys' pitch counts up just because of the limited time we've had out there on the field. And this week, we've got a game Wednesday against Lewisburg. And then, like I said before, we're going to probably move the weekend series up Friday, Saturday. And if we play a doubleheader on Friday, that puts us 9 innings on Wednesday, 16 innings on Friday, and then 9 innings on Saturday. So, the opportunities are there. And we've got a good pitching staff. We've got a couple of arms that are nursing some nagging things, nothing major. But you still have to be careful there when you're bringing them back.
Your normal weekends are Saturday doubleheaders. Are they 7s?
No, 9-7.
9-7. That's where you got. When you said 16, I was trying to add it up. I said, well, I got 14. So you go 9-7.
Yeah.
So there's your 16, and then you play the 9 on the next day. So usually it's Saturday, Sunday. And you guys do that because do you travel on Fridays pretty much?
So if the trip is over 2.5 hours, we travel on Friday and spend the night. But some days we travel the day of and play a doubleheader. It's just all about distance. So it's not
and budgets, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. We getting to Fayetteville is hour and 40 minutes tops, and Southeastern and Virginia Beach are the two places that are probably the furthest trips.
Right.
You just can't get to Whiteville from here.
That's true. Yeah.
It's mostly, unless you take 701, it's 2-lane roads back through Kenansville. But most of the time now we'll leave Friday for that series just because it's it is backwoods, and I don't want to be driving the morning of, and we've done that before. But fortunately, we play them at their place early and our place late. So we do a home and away series throughout the entire season with every team in our conference.
All right, what do you see in the league so far?
I think there's a lot of parity.
Yeah.
Lenore's playing well. Brunswick's playing well. It's hard to tell with some of the other teams that you don't quite know that much about. Obviously, Lenore's got a pretty young team. Brunswick's got a young team, but we lost 2 out of 3 to them. But it was the weekend. I think it was blowing 30 out. And I'm not going to say make excuses because we both play on the same conditions,
same dive and same wind. But man, it's hard to play in that weather.
Well, when you lose 20-18 in a 9-inning game, it's
Oh, that probably lasted 2 hours and a half.
It actually didn't take that long.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
It was kind of a quick game, but. Here again, there's a lot of parity in junior college baseball. It's changed dramatically since the portal. We used to get some freshmen that would leave a university, and that changed. And now, those freshmen are just transferring across the board. I think, that's where some of the, with the new rule, with the 34-man roster coming aboard next year with the NCAA, I think that will change the complexion of what some of those players can do. Now, the veteran players, they have no choice.
Right.
If they get above their sophomore year, they have to either go NCAA Division 1, 2, or even 3.
Yeah, it changes so quickly, and you kind of try to keep up with everything. All right, with your ball club now, you talk a little bit about your arms a little bit. Talk about your pitching staff as a whole.
As a whole, I think, we've got strike throwers. And that's the biggest thing. Last year, we strike out 9, walk 9. This year, I think we don't have as much velocity right now, but that could go up with the weather. But we're throwing strikes, and some of these conditions, you can't pitch scared. If you pitch defensively, you're going to get beat, and that's the one thing. With the conditions we've played in, it's pretty much blown out the whole time. And it may change this weekend. It may blow dead end. But here again, you still got to be the aggressor.
Yeah, if it blows dead end, and
you can pitch the fastball up in the zone all day long.
All you want. How about your position players? Take us around the infield and what you've got and what you're looking forward.
Zach Chavis is, kind of hunkered down at first base. He's a veteran, and he's one that we need to get going. Josh Mason, who was an all-region player last year, is playing well at second base. Brody Stallings from Winterville come in, played really, really good defense, knocking on wood, Brody.
Got to keep it up.
And third base, Jan Pospisil from the Czech Republic. We've had great success with Czech kids, and Martin Zelenka's down in Wilmington and has had a good career down there. But then the outfield, Mitch Jones from Greenville, transferred in from Virginia Tech, and has played well out there. Left field's kind of been Cam Greenway mostly. Cam had a small injury at one time, but he's healthy now. And then J.D. Scarborough from Fayetteville has played really well in right field. He's kind of hunkered down the outfield. He's kind of the general, even though he's playing right field, he's kind of the general out there. Behind the plate, it's kind of been two guys. We had another catcher that got injured, probably won't be back this year. Patrick Bolt from South Brunswick, and Reagan Bernard, who was a Carolina transfer last year. And, both of those guys do a good job behind the plate. When you're playing two games on Saturday, the game on Sunday is dictated on who does well on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's gotten hot on Saturday, whether it's a 9-inning game or a 7-inning game, the reality is the guy who's hot on Saturday is going to get the start on Sunday.
How important is it to get some of the local kids, that you're able to get?
Well, I mean, we used to, Brian, it's changed so much with the complexion of our league because, we used to have like 5 junior college teams in North Carolina. Now we've got 13.
Yeah. And
Lewisburg dropped down to Division II. So, we could go to Rowan County and get any player we wanted back when I first started here. I'd go to Cherryville. Bobby Dale Reynolds would call and say, Tom, I got a player.
Yeah.
I'd go to Cherryville and watch him play, and sure enough, he's selling a good product. But it's harder to get the Western North Carolina guys to come east. I don't quite understand that. You're thinking, maybe you want to go to the beach sometime.
Yeah, you think.
But at the same time, it's tougher to get an Eastern North Carolina kid to go west.
Yeah.
So, they're used to.
That's because of the barbecue problem.
Yeah, red sauce.
Exactly.
I don't know about that. But anyway, the complexion of a recruiting has changed. So you still have to lean on the guys you've trusted your whole career. We get, Pennsylvania kids every year. And we trust the people that we talk to up there. Those a lot of times those players come down and work out, may not get to see them play in a game. So you really have to trust those contacts that you've got. Just like 4-year schools call me and say, "Okay, tell me about your player." And if I lie to them, guess what? They're not calling me again.
Exactly.
And we've had over 151 players from Pitt in my tenure. Not just a Division I level, Division I, Division II. I think 78 of those were all Division I's.
Yeah.
And then, Chisenhall and Jeff Farrell. And
But those are two biggest names that.
Freddie. Freddie. Help me out.
Played at North Pitt, right?
Yeah. No, played at Bedingfield.
That's right, Bedingfield. I knew it was down the road.
Freddie Bynum.
Yeah, Bynum.
He was there when Monty was there. He was a second round pick, and Chisenhall was a first round pick, and then I think Jeff Farrell was a late mid-30s, but ended up pitching in the big leagues.
Yeah.
So, that's tough too. My job is not to tell scouts how to do their job.
Right.
If you're good enough to play in the pros, they have to make those decisions. And even now with the 20 rounds that you have in the draft, there's not a whole lot of, talk in college baseball, especially at our level, about, I really want to be drafted. Well, there's only 20 rounds. You better be pretty good.
Right.
So unless you're going to sign a free agency deal.
And that's one of the things that I see even in our business is that, we get calls, how's this person? Well, what people don't understand is how they handle themselves. Now you have a book, you have a stat book, you can say he's hitting 300, but they also ask you, what kind of kid is he? How are his parents? Character.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And here again, I try to talk directly to my players. If a parent gets involved, I want it to be about academics. I want it to be about something else other than baseball. I would hope that the guys that are, that I'm talking to, maybe understand why they're not on the field, maybe understand why they're playing a lot. And those are things you have to look in the mirror. And I say, look in the mirror, and if you can say, this, and you're doing this, and, maybe I need to give you that opportunity. I had that conversation with a player last week, and guess what? He stepped up. We had an injury, and he stepped up and did a great job.
Yeah, it's almost like the purity of college sports and baseball. It's kind of gone down to the junior college level. That's where you get more of what we always thought about. You know, you're not playing for money. You're not playing. You're playing for the love of the game. You're playing for books, tuition, kind of like you said when you came to East Carolina. And it's kind of one of the magic things of just just what it's all about, because college sports has changed so much with the transfer portal, the NIL, all of that kind of thing. We're going to take another commercial break with Tommy Eason. Back with more after this.
Here at the Holistic Company, we know that life throws you its fair share of curveballs, like passing that drug test. Congrats. Now you can finally relax, kick back, and, well, light one up. You've earned it. And whether you've had one of those weeks, or maybe your mother-in-law's in town and you're one passive-aggressive comment away from needing a vacation, if this sounds like you, then come visit our team here at the Holistic Company to help you find the perfect products to ease your stress and promote relaxation. Order our products online at theholisticco.com or visit us at 5th and Evans in Greenville or at one of our other 2 locations in Fremont or Smithfield. The Holistic Company.
It's March, and Pirate Radio is teaming up with the Buccaneer Music Hall, Dirty Dan's, and Overtime's Tavern to help support ECU Baseball's Mustache March campaign. Mustache March t-shirts are available for purchase at all 3 locations. T-shirts are only $20, and all proceeds go towards ALS research. Stop by the Buck, Dirty Dan's, or Overtime's Tavern to get your shirt today. Wear it loud, wear it proud, and together we'll strike out ALS. Get your Mustache March t-shirt and make a difference. Go Pirates!
Hey Pirate fans, did you know there are thousands of special needs children and adults right here in our community that loves ECU athletics as much as you do? Robbie's Clubhouse is a local nonprofit organization that can turn your unused ECU tickets into a fun day for a family with special needs. If you can't make it to the next Pirate game, simply call 1-800-DIAL-ECU and donate and designate your tickets for Robbie's Clubhouse. Go Pirates!
It's bow time. Bojangles' new chicken rice bowl is built bold from the bottom up, with classic Bojangles flavor packed into every bite. Starting with a base of our signature dirty rice, we pile on even more flavor with Cajun pintos, then your choice of boldly seasoned grilled chicken or our iconic Supremes. Top it off with a sprinkle of cheese, and if you want to add some heat, add a dash of Texas Pete. Head to Bojangles and try the new chicken rice bowl for a limited time. It's bow time.
I'm Morgan Ehlers here with Brian Cook. He's the comptroller with Greenville Motor Company and Greenville Auto World. Talk a little bit about what you do from a sales and service standpoint.
We just see what everybody's circumstances are. Everybody's different. Credit scores are different. Lenders look for a lot of particulars, and we're here to help you. We try to offer a quality product, and we're here for you service-wise down the road, and we want to give you the discounts we like to offer our hometown people here and our family.
Greenville Motor Company and the new Greenville Auto World. We will earn your trust and business one vehicle at a time. Go online at driveherenow.com.
Ready for a home makeover? Bostic Sugg Furniture's new and now collection has the freshest styles you've been dreaming of. Store-wide savings on fashion-forward looks and styles for your living room, dining room, and bedroom. Hundreds of items in stock. Or let our team help you build a custom piece just for you. Plus, 6 months special financing and local delivery for just $19.37. Sleep better with over 30 models of brand name mattresses to choose from and up to 48 months special financing. Now at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
No one knows pirates like we do.
Drink up, me hearty yo-ho.
Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Monday. Tommy Eason, head baseball coach at Pitt Community College, joining us. His Bulldogs 8-5 on the year, 2-3 in conference. Really, the season really just getting started. When you think about Pitt Community College baseball, some of the things that you're very proud of. I remember one year you guys, I think you were playing down in Morehead City in the tournament, and I asked you, I said, do you have enough pitching to go through the rest of the thing? And you smiled at me. I think you were in the loser's bracket to start, but you smiled at me and you said, we got enough pitching. And then you went on and won, I don't know which year that was, but you went on and won the championship. But, the championships, the World Series bursts, I mean, it kind of runs together, but it means a lot.
Oh, sure. Well, the first was, going to Grand Junction. And, we were the first community college in the state of North Carolina to go to the Division I World Series. Lewisburg, had gone several times when Coach Frazier was there. And here again, I said the landscape of baseball's changed. It's tougher. Now we can win the region, the Southeast District, and you go straight to the World Series. So whoever wins our league goes straight to the World Series, which is telling, our league's pretty good.
Right.
So, in 2017, that was the first year we were in Division II. And in 2010, when we went to the World Series in Grand Junction, you're looking at Team San Jacinto, and at the time we played against Bryce Harper.
I remember that.
He was at Southern Nevada.
Yeah.
And, I'm going, that's one reason we dropped to Division II, because we cannot spend that kind of money.
Right.
And the state of North Carolina, back in, I can't remember what year, the legislature dictated what athletics could spend. And from a scholarship standpoint, we have basically 24 in-state tuition and fee scholarships, no room and board. Well, we don't have that kind of money at Pitt Community College to be able to spread that across 24 players. We have to break it down some. In Division I, you can have 24 full rides. So competing against those schools out there then, and we were good. That team in 2010, hit 110 home runs. And, we had, Robbie Penny, who was drafted, Jeff Farrell on that team. We had a really good pitching staff, and, we played well. Justin Nygaard, kid from Wilson, or a man from Wilson now, was like 9-1 for us, and we were winning the game. And Grand Junction is humid, and it is hard as a rock out there. Ball hits off the plate area, hits him in the eye. So, he struck out like 7 or 8 in the first 4 innings. We're thinking, we're cruising. Well, then all of the rest of our players were really hard throwers, and we're playing Temple, Texas. None of them threw hard because all those boys from Texas were used to the 90 miles an hour. So anyway, we dropped down to Division II in 2017 and ended up winning the region and going to Enid and really finishing 4th there. Brunswick finished 2nd this past year, and I think it shows the quality of baseball in our region. And I think the wins are great, but the 151 players moving on is even, I think, sometimes better, more justification.
Yeah, I think too. You look back on your career and you think about those players that moved on, and I'm sure you've got lifelong friends now that played for you, and now they're just friends that probably you're a mentor for, and not only in baseball but in life.
Well, I'm getting wedding invitations.
Yeah,
I mean, left after right. It's
Coach has got to be at the wedding.
I'm like,
you're probably like me. You probably don't really like those weddings, but you got to go to some of them.
Well, a lot of them during baseball season. I'm like, you can't get married during baseball season.
What are you thinking?
So it's unique though. I always say you don't have to like me, just respect me. And I think that has been one of my mottos throughout my coaching career. Keith was that way. He was hard.
Right. People don't really realize that, I think, because now, all you think about is the ALS, the battle he had, and he did such a great job. And I was going to ask you about that next, but just when he had the ALS, he was sending out Bible verses to people through email. He used his eye gaze machine to make the emails, to send them out. And he'd have relationships, with people all over the country through email.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, and that's kind of his legacy on the back half, or the back half of ALS. But before that, Keith came to practice every day. Our guys practice hard, and they were put to the test during practice so that he knew what he's going to get out of them in the game. And I think a lot of that mentality is kind of going on through Cliff and Eric and Bryant Ward out at UCLA. Right. And I think that's it's just a testament to him, because he was a walk-on at Western Carolina, ended up being one of the best players to ever play there. And so Keith definitely set a great example. I try to follow in that. I'm not Keith. I don't try to be.
But nobody is really.
But I try to take the examples that he set for me and pass them along, not just to my players, but to the guys who coach with me. And Jason Wood's been with me for 7-8 years now, and Blake Allen had to kind of take a step back because he got married, and I was like, it's time to make some money. And
yeah, I bet.
So he left this past year, and Ty Johnson, whose father and I played together, He just graduated from Chowan, so he's helping me now. So he's getting his feet wet a little bit, and here again, I learn from them. I learn from players. I try to be a sponge too, and as you said about knowing, I don't know it all. I promise you that. But I try to use the things that I've learned from other people throughout my college career, high school career, pro career, and now I tell you, it's easy to play the game of baseball in the dugout.
Yeah, that's true.
You can slow the game down a whole lot more, and I try to explain that to them. When you're in the dugout, man, that's the time you can slow the game down and really process it. In the game, you just got to compete, and you got to be able to slow it down out there also.
I didn't realize it at the time, I guess, because I lived through it with you guys. But Coach LeClaire was young. Was he 35 when he was? Because he died at the age of 40, so he was 32, 33 at East Carolina. And how old were you when you started with him?
Well, I started with him in 1998, so I was 28.
Okay.
So I thought Keith was around 36. So he's the same age as my brother.
Right, okay.
So he died in 2006, right?
Right, yeah.
So he was diagnosed in 2001, 2002. Somewhere in there.
And that first year when everybody knew something was up, and nobody knew exactly what it was, and
he was riding to certain games with Lynn and family, and I think one of the last games that he coached in was at UNC Charlotte, and they were headed to Joplin, Missouri. I think that's right. They thought it was
Lyme disease.
And it was. It was, but they think Lyme disease actually triggered the ALS. And, Keith's family had quite a bit of, quite a few members that have passed away from ALS, unfortunately. So whether it's inherited or, I wish they would come up with a cure, without doubt.
I had ALS Walk coming up in May. I get a chance every year to work with that. You guys do if you're in town. I know East Carolina does as well if they're in town, but that's always been a big deal. As we said, the Mustache March thing. I don't want to grow a mustache in March, but it's kind of it's become kind of a tradition. The big shave off that we have at East Carolina, and that coaching staff. Coach Whitfield was the only guy with any age and experience on that staff, wasn't he? I'll never forget. This is the one thing I think of Coach Whitfield. Whenever the last out was made, he'd come out. He'd have that score book in one hand, and he'd come out firing people up. I love that guy.
He would do it right now if he could. And I did want to mention that I lost my mother-in-law.
You did. I remember that now that you say that. Yeah, and that's it's tough, and to watch that go through, and you had a personal deal with it with Coach LeClaire and the mother. I mean, that's really really difficult.
It's just a cruel disease.
Yeah, it's the cruelest, I think. I mean, it's just really tough. Rabbit Fulgham was at the game the other day. I know you play with Rabbit Fulgham at Green Central. Man, to see him out of the ballpark, man, that means a lot too.
Coach Fulgham has declined a little bit, but mentally, he still loves the game of baseball, and he lives directly across the street from Green Central, so he just gets in the golf cart and goes across the street to watch games. So I think that's awesome. I know Skip Morris keeps up with Cliff. Yeah. Skip doesn't come to as many games as he used to, but we're all getting to that point where the people that mean stuff, mean something to us in life, are declining in health, and
yeah, you're right.
It stinks.
Bro. Yeah, well, it does, brother. I was with my dad all weekend, and it was I left Sunday morning, spent all day Sunday with him, but just watching him going with his man, we both may start crying right now in a second. Man, you're getting me all what is that eyeball sweat, Coach Ruff says, but yeah, man, just to see him, because you think the world. I mean,
I understand.
Take a break. Back with more after this. Whoa.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. burgers deserve Pepsi.
This is Holt Nailers for my friends at Eason Belts, the belts that I wear. Go to AnsonBelt.com to find micro-adjustable holeless belts with over 30-plus options of a 1/4 inch apart instead of your typical 5 holes 1 inch apart, always giving you the perfect fit every time. If your waist fluctuates, Eason Belt is great because you can always find the perfect fit any time of the year. AnsonBelt.com. Over 10,000 combinations to choose from, a belt for every occasion, and the official belt of the Holt Nailor Show.
Hey O's fans, Birdland memberships are on sale now for the 2025 season. Become a Birdland member and enjoy the best way to watch Orioles baseball. Choose from either reserved or flex plans, with reserved allowing you to guarantee seats for each game in your plan, while flex provides the flexibility to choose your games and seats when you want. Plus receive special benefits like discounts on concessions and merch, a flexible ticket exchange policy, and access to Birdland rewards. Buy your membership today at Orioles.com/memberships.
This is Brian Harris with 360 Golf Carts, Pitt County's go-to shop for all things golf carts. We have E-Z-Go, club car, and utility carts to choose from. Whether it's for the beach, riding around the neighborhood, or working in the yard, 360 Golf Carts has the perfect ride for you. If you have issues with your current cart, take it by my shop for an expert's diagnosis. From parts to sales to service, we have you covered. We will even deliver right to you. So come see me, Brian Harris, on Highway 43, just past D.H. Conley High School. 360 Golf Carts, Pirates supporting Pirates.
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with rentafishtank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. Rentafishtank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. Rentafishtank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at rentafishtank.com.
Is your office printer on the fritz? Don't wait days for a repair. This is Walker Allen Volova with CopyPro, where we promise fast 3-hour service on all of your copy equipment. No need to press 1 for English for an overseas service line. All of our calls are answered right here in Greenville. Plus, we offer a free office printing analysis to help you cut cost and boost efficiency. We'll show you exactly how to save money on ink, toner, and energy. For reliable, fast service, call CopyPro today at 1-800-682-6558 and see how we can help your office run more efficiently. CopyPro, fast service, smarter printing, bringing more value to your business.
Pirate Radio.
You must be a pirate for the Pirates Code to apply, and you're not. And thirdly, the code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back as we wrap things up with Tommy Eason, head baseball coach at Pitt Community College. Bulldogs 8-5 on the year so far, 2-3 in conference play. And as we said, the season really just getting started with the weather, the ice, the rain, the wind, everything and anything that you've had as far as baseball goes. When you look at just the future of junior college baseball, I mean, if you're talking to a young kid right now who says, I want to get into coaching and I want to start on the junior college level, what do you tell him?
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of pay. I mean, first and foremost, we're fortunate enough to have a stipend for, our second assistant, and then Jason is our SID / he does everything behind the scenes. Yeah. And so, it's tougher nowadays. I mean, back, obviously when I came through, I had to get my master's degree, and fortunately that's what allowed me to coach at Pitt. But I don't know many coaches that are getting their master's degrees like we had to do back in the day. It's a tough business, but it's one of the businesses that it's the good old boy. If you know somebody and you show that you're capable, you've got a good chance of getting into it. Right. But it is a long road. But even today, now it's such a business. You look at some of the salaries that you're seeing across the country for baseball coaches, and I'm like, wow. But then there's players on the team making more than the coach. Right. With the NIL. That's crazy. So, the landscape of college athletics it's changed, and I don't necessarily see it for the good. But that's my opinion. And, I'm old school, grew up old school. I'm not changing.
I agree with you. I've always taken that whole old school. When people say, I'll hear people even at the station, and I'll walk away and say, he's just old school. But that's a compliment if you ask me, because I mean that's the way, that I was taught. I was taught in the sportscasting business. I was an intern at Wavy, and Bruce Rader was, he was there 40 some years before he retired, but he was young and he just ripped you to shreds if you made a mistake. And so I came to Greenville. I was ripping people to shreds. These days you can't even tell them they have a pimple without HR getting involved. So
that's the other thing. I think you get too hard on a player, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm going here next year.
Yeah,
and that part of it stinks. I think Cliff talks about a lot. Building men, and and that's what we try to do is build men and build character, and hopefully they're successful, because the majority are not going to play Major League Baseball.
Right.
I think that's tough to understand when you're young, but I think it's 1% get a chance to play, and then it's 0.1% of those players who get a chance to play make it to the big leagues.
Yeah. You in the Philly organization, when you were coming up through the minors, how close were you, and how, what did you think about playing in the bigs?
I was close.
I knew you were.
In 1994, I was part of the first fall league when Michael Jordan was out there, so it was a big deal. There was a lot of coverage, and I had a really good fall league, and I made the big league roster on the 40-man, and then the strike hit. And so we didn't go to spring training until April, when there was a lot of free agents down in Florida somewhere, and they were working out together. And so they had to take guys off the 40-man and to be able to sign those free agents. So I was taken off the 40-man, and then we signed Lenny Webster and somebody else. And so the next year I had an all-star year, had a double, me and Walt McKeel.
Oh, yeah.
He was on the American League side. I was on the National League side. We were both two guys, one catcher for the American League, one catcher for the National League from Snow Hill.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And so after the 95 year, I was an all-star in AA, and we won the Eastern League, which was awesome. I got traded in October to San Francisco. And so I went to big league camp with San Francisco as a non-roster guy. And at the end of the year, right before spring training, we had individual meetings and stuff. And I'd become diabetic in 94. And I just, I told them, they wanted me to go back to AA. And I said, I'm not going back to AA. I was a AA all-star. I've proved myself at that level. I need to learn from big leaguers, either at AAA level or at the big league level. And they said, well, that's not going to happen. I said, well, I guess we got another choice. I'll be retiring. So I walked out the door. A preacher was standing there. He said, sorry about you, getting released. I said, I didn't get released. I retired. He said, good for you. And I went and packed my bag at the hotel room, got in my truck, and drove halfway from Phoenix, Arizona to Greenville.
Wow.
I said, I'll never do that again.
I don't blame you there.
So, that was not a fun trip. But anyhow, I don't regret anything. At that time, the diabetic side was so different than it is now.
Yeah.
The medicines nowadays with the pumps and everything else, it's amazing how much more of a normal life you can live.
Yeah, exactly right. But that's an amazing story, but just to be that close and to think about it sometimes. But you've done such wonderful work with Pitt Community College through the years, at East Carolina as a pitching coach there. And a lifelong friend. And we've been friends for a long, long time. So we certainly appreciate you. And best of luck to those Bulldogs this year. We'll get out there and get that mustache going for mustache. You guys ought to come over for the big shave off with us. You have a good time. I get a razor right here by Cliff. I love that. That's the one time in my life I get him nervous.
There you go.
So I get the clippers off. All right, that's our show for this Monday. Don't forget, next week we'll be on with you on Tuesday. On Monday, it's the 2025 Pirate Radio Leadership Luncheon with Inky Johnson. So we'll be back with you on Tuesday next week, right here on the Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
Bostic Sugg, Bojangles, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, Taft Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
Join us next week for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, right here.